Isang magandang bagong Pilipinas. Ngayon ay Lunes, February 17, 2025. Diretsahang usapan ng mahalagang issue sa bansa, kasama ang kinatawan ng mga ahensya ng pamahalaan. Mula sa Presidential Communications Office, ako po si Joey Villarama.
Mula rin sa Presidential Communications Office, ako po si Weng Hidalgo. Ihahatid namin ang mga programa at serbisyo para sa taong bayan.
Tutok lang, narito na ang bagong Pilipinas ngayon. Malaki ang contribution sa ekonomiya ng ating overseas Filipino workers. At pagdating sa malasakit at proteksyon ng kanilang mga karapatan, dyan nakatutok ang Department of Migrant Workers. Kung paano naging matagumpay ang mga programa nito at ano pa ang mga nakakasang plano ng ahensya, pag-uusapan natin kasama si DMW Secretary Hans Leo Capdac. Secretary, magandang tanghali po at welcome sa ating program.
Magandang tanghali, Asik Joey, Miss Weng, sa inyong mga tagapakinig, tagapanood. Magandang tanghali rin po.
Sir, balikan muna natin yung 2024. Ano yung masasabi niyong pinakamalaking tagumpay ng inyong ahensya?
Yes, 2024 was a banner year in terms of yung second full year of implementation ng mga programs and services ng Department of Migrant Workers, the youngest department in the bureaucracy. And of course, yung 2024 saw more contracts processed by our line people, personnel and agencies, units. Ibig sabihin nito kasi regulatory ang function ng DMW, rights-based approach ang kinikilingan namin. Bilang tahanan ng OFWs na binansagan nito ni Sec. Toots Ople, tayo ay nagbibigay ng proteksyon sa karapatan ng mga OFWs, and so we pass upon contracts, we make sure that documented ang mga overseas Filipino workers. And in 2024, we processed around 2.7 million contracts, which was an increase of over 100,000, 2.6 in the previous year. Ibig sabihin, ganun katindi yung pagsusuri ng ating mga tauhan, pati yung mga online processing systems natin, 2.7 million. Bilang regulatory agency, we also fought illegal recruitment and human trafficking. 15 establishments closed. It used to be single digit on a yearly basis, pero nadoble natin yung output. 15 illegal recruitment establishments closed. Maraming online illegal recruitment takedowns sa TikTok at sa Facebook. 71,000 illegal recruitment sites ang na-takedown natin. We prosecuted around 71 illegal recruitment cases. Ongoing yung karamihan dito sa courts, and about 15 convictions ng illegal recruitment. And we aided about 20,000 OFWs who needed our legal assistance along the way dito sa home office. Yung Action Fund natin, we had around 135,000 beneficiaries ng ating 2.2 billion peso Action Fund, which provides legal, medical, and financial assistance sa ating mga OFWs. And of course, si Pangulong Marcos, ang ating OFW President, yun ang tawag namin kay Pangulo kasi overwhelming mandate with OFWs. Pinag-utos niya na taasan yung benefits sa Action Fund natin from 30,000, a flat rate of 30,000 assistance, nag-increase ito from 50 to 75 to 100,000 depending on the gravity. And then, yung emergency cases. Unfortunately, nagkaroon ng hidwaan sa iba't ibang bahagi ng mundo, lalo na sa gitnang silangan. Alam natin yan, yung hidwaan ng Hamas at Israel na umapaw dun sa Red Sea sa mga tripulante natin. So we were able to secure the safe repatriation of 3,000 workers from Israel and Lebanon and Gaza and the West Bank safely come home through an whole-of-government approach. Lastly, sa reintegration, nearly 30,000 OFWs together with the OWA na kinabang sa ating mga reintegration programs.
Nabanggit nyo, sir, na pinakabatang ahensya, pero sa mga nabanggit nyong figures, puro positive at very encouraging. Saan nyo ma-attribute yung successes na ito?
Well, I think more than anything, yung full support ng ating Pangulo at ng Kongreso. As I mentioned, yung 2.2 billion peso allocation for the Action Fund is unprecedented. Dati kasi ang kapirahan, so to speak, ay nasa Overseas Workers Welfare Administration lamang. But now with the combined force of OWA and the Department of Migrant Workers. Yung primary welfare agency is the Department of Migrant Workers. And then OWA catering to their members. Ito ay yung nagkaroon ng tibay at lakas. So as I said, 135,000 dun sa Action Fund ang nakinabang. And that is an increase of nearly double for the previous year. Of course, it's just the second full year of implementation nitong Action Fund. So it's the resources. I think the President has always, every time we meet, he has always assured us of the support. Hindi nagiging issue ngayon yung pagbibigay ng tulong legal, medical, financial sa ating mga OFWs.
So sir, speaking of medical na tulong, sinabi niyo, paano naman po nakatulong yung pagtatayo ng mga ospital para sa ating migrant?
Oh yes. Nakaligtaan ko yung OFW hospital, around 86,000 inpatient, outpatient ang nasilbihan sa OFW hospital sa San Fernando, Pampanga. Pinagtibay ng ating Pangulo through the budget, no? Yung budget ng OFW hospital. We administered more positions, so we're thankful to the DBM, of course, the President through the DBM, more permanent positions in the OFW hospital. So I have administered the oath of around 200 nurses and doctors, medical staff, regular plantilla items sa OFW hospital. Incidentally, for the DMW, it has been 450 naman. I've administered the oath of 450 new regular personnel for the DMW. So malaking pasalamat na naman natin kay Pangulo at sa DBM dito sa mga pagpondo ng ating mga plantilla, necessary of course in building a new department.
Sir, within this OFW hospital, may Bagong Pilipinas Cancer Care Center. Kamusta po ang status?
Yes. Nagkalik na ko rin banggitin na ASEC, which we talked about this before the program. Sa OFW hospital, covered ang OFWs, current and former, including their dependents, si nanay, si tatay, anak, immediate dependents. If you go to the OFW hospital, makikita mo may mga elderly na naka-wheelchair. So magtataka ka, they look about 80, 90 years old sa profile nila, no? And you will ask them, Nay, tay, dati po kayong OFW? Hindi po, ang anak ko nasa Abu Dhabi, ang anak ko nasa Saudi, they proudly say. So pwede po si nanay at tatay sa OFW hospital. Yung Cancer Care Center, na nagkaroon ng groundbreaking, inilunsad ng ating Pangulo yung groundbreaking nung Disyembre, is meant to cater to cancer patients. Unfortunately, may mga nakakasakit ng cancer ng mga OFWs. So that cancer care facility, also with the help of SecTed Herbosa and the DOH, so nagpapasalamat din tayo kay SecTed, will be constructed for this entire year, finished at the end of this year, and to be activated in the first quarter of 2026. So hopefully, on average, mga 250 to 300 cancer patients at any given time ang masisilbihan nitong Cancer Care Center.
Sir, gaano naman kahalaga yung Magna Carta of Filipino Seafarers na nilagdaan noong September 2024?
Sa seafarers naman, we have seen yung continuing high demand for seafarers. It was around 670,000 seafarers contracts processed in 2024. That's an increase from around 620 the year prior. Dito sa Magna Carta for Seafarers, pinirmahan ng ating Pangulo noong September, pinagtibay ang standards of protection ng ating seafarers. And then, of course, yung pagkakaroon ng yung pagkakahalaga ng mga sa wages and benefits ng seafarers, yung pagkakaroon ng mekanismo sa pagligtas sa kanila kung sila ay nagkaroon ng peligro sa abroad, such as yung nangyari nung sa Red Sea, nung inatake ng mga Houthi rebels ang higit kumulang 70 ships noong 2024 carrying Filipino seafarers. Of course, sa kanisamang palad, nagkaroon tayo ng 3 casualties. But by and large, over mga 5,000 or so Filipino seafarers were rendered safe as their ships traversed the Red Sea. But we instituted a lot of regulatory measures in accordance with the Magna Carta. Pinagbawal natin yung mga ships na naatake na sa Red Sea. nagkaroon ng right to refuse sailing na itinalaga natin yung mekanismo pwedeng umatras ang isang OFW, a seafarer, kapag ayaw niyang maglayag sa Red Sea. Another feature of the Magna Carta is yung empowerment of women seafarers. So meron ding feature doon na providing equal opportunity even for women seafarers. And then yung training and education aspect, nandun enhanced then Marina covers that part of the Magna Carta, and then yung dispute settlement ng seafarers. Kung meron silang gustong idulog na reklamo, ay pwede na lang idulog, itinalaga doon yung proseso sa Magna Carta for seafarers.
Pero meron ba, sir, parang intervention din ang doon, yung DMW, para doon naman sa mga biktima ng abduction pag uwi nila dito?
Yes. Yung mga nagkakaroon ng cases, well, again, doon sa Red Sea, kasama tayo doon sa repatriation effort. Halimbawa kung merong barko which happened unfortunately na inatake ng Houthis at kailangan iuwi yung mga seafarers natin, or as you mentioned, unfortunately there are still cases of piracy, kung may abduction o pagpapauwi ay yes, involved din doon ang DMW. But I need to say, di ba, you might be referring to the 17 hostage seafarers ng Galaxy Leader, 248 days in captivity, but with the clear leadership of the President and directing the DFA and the DMW to carry on with their respective roles and tasks, na iuwi sila ng ligtas very recently, and we're so delighted. Walang nasaktan, walang nakasakit na malubha, and the families, of course, we were only too excited for the families na nakita namin yung reunification nila.
Sir, nung 2024, nagdaos po nung National Forum on Migration, and I understand, among other things, meron pong kasunduan with Commission on Filipinos Overseas para sa Balink Bayan Portal. So ano po ito at paano po ito nakakatulong sa ating OFW?
With Chair Clink Ang and the Commission on Filipinos Overseas. Sa ngayon kasi, we need to have a clear synergy and coordination, cooperation with the CFO. CFO handles non-OFWs who are abroad. And yung ating pagkakaroon ng cooperation basically means yung sa CFO, they are well coordinated with the diaspora, yung communities ng Filipinos overseas, which includes OFWs. Link tayo sa kanila para cover natin yung buong community. Hindi nagkakaroon ng dichotomy. Hawak nila yung non-OFWs, hawak namin yung OFWs. Sa totoo lang, pag nagtipon-tipon ng Pilipino, wala na yung distinction. So might as well join efforts kami. Ang isang benepisyo nito, pag link kami ni Chair Clink Ang, ay yung mga benepisyo sa OFWs mabibigay namin. Yung mga seminars on financial literacy, yung mga seminars on paano magtayo ng negosyo. We partnered with the Securities and Exchange Commission, for instance, para magabayan ng OFWs on how to prevent or avoid investment scams, which means pointing them in the direction of the right investment opportunities. Yan. Magkakasama sa Puwersa na kami ni Chair Clink. Sama-sama na sa lahat in a webinar or face-to-face forum. So yan ang isang value nun. Of course, we also partnered with the BSP, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, Governor Remolona, kasi yung financial literacy and education, yung sa SEC na banggit ko na, Philippine Stock Exchange also, kasi 6.4% lang pala ng mga investors sa Philippine stock market are Filipinos. So ang target namin ni President Monzon ay taasan yung metric na yon, more than 6.4%. So campaign on how one could invest properly and wisely in the Philippine stock market.
Sir, balikan ko lang yung Action Fund.
Yes.
Paano po ito naging accessible para sa mga migrant workers?
Yes, we have made this more accessible kasi ang gusto nating mangyari sa Action Fund, kasi financial assistance siya. So essentially, kung distress ang isang OFW, nagbibigay tayo ng mekanismo kung saan paano madaling ma-access ito. Mainly through our migrant workers offices overseas, through our hotline 1348, co-shared by the OWA. So we're thankful to Admin Arnel and the OWA. And then of course, yung pagkakaroon ng Facebook page. Nandun sa Facebook page natin, yung of course may chat rooms doon and messaging. So doon natin nalalaman kung sino ang pwedeng bigyan. Of course, that includes legal assistance. Galing lang kami sa UAE, World Government Summit, to join the First Lady doon sa delivery niya of two main messages sa dalawang fora within the World Government Summit. But kasabay nun, that was also our chance to talk about our operations sa Dubai and sa Abu Dhabi. So doon, nakadaop palad ko mismo yung mga OFWs na napawalang sala, falsely accused in Dubai criminal courts. And so, nagkaroon ng pagka-absuelto sa kanila, na-meet ko sila. Merong isa doon si tatay, he's 75 years old, recently na-absuelto siya. So, kailangan na natin siyang pauwiin, so we are helping him come home. He just needs to clear some processes and pay some fines, so we are helping him in that regard.
Ayan, nabanggit niyo sir yung mga naabswelto at yung mga uuwi. So malaking usapin last year yung pagpapauwi naman, matagumpay na pagpapauwi kay Mary Jane Veloso. So
Yes.
paano naman po yung ibang mga kababayan natin na humingi ng tulong at kamusta po ang ating assistance sa kanila?
Yes, maayos naman. As I said, we assisted 135,000 OFWs through the Action Fund, distressed OFWs. Dito sa ating One Repatriation Command Center, 24,000 ang nakauwi safely. The One Repatriation Command Center is a unified effort for the DMW, different repatriation units, joint forces within the DMW, including the OWA, para maayos ang pagpapauwi ng isang OFW na nais umuwi. So 24,000 ang nakauwi, 24,000 ang reunited with their respective families after undergoing, unfortunately, a distressful situation. But of course, yung repatriation means cleared na sila doon sa home country. Kung wala silang pending case, either in defense or isinusulong para usigin kung may perpetrator o merong nag-violate ng batas ng karapatan ng OFW, then we handle the case muna bago siya makauwi.
So sir, dun sa bukod sa mga nabanggit ninyo, ano pa po yung mga benefits na naibigay ng ng DMW sa mga OFW at kanilang mga pamilya last year?
Yeah, siguro i-clear ko lang yung 50, 75, 100, no? As I said, it used to be a flat 30,000 financial assistance given by the DMW, but the President told us to review the 30,000 rate. So it's now 50,000 for a regular distress situation, 75,000 kung nagkasakit yung worker, and kung warlike situation. So yung mga umuwi mula sa Lebanon get 75,000 pesos, for instance. 100,000 kung sa kasamang palad na sawi yung worker. That's over and above the OWA benefit kung active OWA member. Kaya hinikayat ko ngayon ng mga OFWs natin to be an active OWA member. Kasi on top of the Action Fund benefit, bibigyan pa kayo ng OWA ng benefit. And of course, scholarship from the OWA side, nagbibigay sila ng scholarships, around 6,000 scholars on the OWA side, at pararamihin pa natin yan. Dito sa DMW side, we're mindful of giving the cash benefit and cash assistance kasi alam natin na may mga anak din na minor de edad ang mga OFW. So kasama sa effort natin, for instance, together with the DFA, yung pagpapauwi ng mga children of OFWs na pinapanganak doon out of wedlock. Unfortunately, nahirapan umuwi yung nanay at yung baby due to the circumstances. So together with the DFA, we take care of the baby and the mother. And with the DFA, of course, handling the immigration side and the passporting side, napapauwi natin na around 300 in the Middle East, no? Mga OFW babies who had difficulty coming home due to immigration issues.
Alright, sa ating pagbabalik, pag-uusapan naman natin ang iba pang programa at serbisyo ng Department of Migrant Workers ngayon 2025. Kasama pa rin si Secretary Hans Leo Capdac. Manatiling nakatutok, magbabalik pa rin ang Bagong Pilipinas ngayon.
Magandang balita para sa bawat manggagawang Pilipino. Nakamit natin itong 2024 ang pinakamababang unemployment rate since 2005. Ayon sa NEDA, mas dumami ang may hanap buhay at patuloy na gumaganda ang kalidad ng mga trabaho. Naitala na nagtapos ang 2024 na 3.8% na lang ang ating unemployment rate. Ibig sabihin nito'y nasa 50.19 milyong Pilipino na ang may trabaho at bumaba na sa 1.63 milyon ang walang trabaho. Mas kaunti na rin ang mga naghahanap ng dagdag na kita o ekstrang trabaho. Mula sa 11.9% ng 2023, 10.9% na lang nitong 2024. Mas maraming Pilipino na ang may sapat at disenteng hanap buhay. Para sa tuloy-tuloy na pag-unlad ng ating labor market, narito ang ginagawa ng pamahalaan. Enterprise-based Education and Training Framework para matiyak na ang skills ng ating mga manggagawa ay tugma sa pangangailangan ng industriya. Inclusive work arrangements para mabawasan ang hadlang sa trabaho, lalo na sa kababaihan at kabataan. Action Fund and Emergency Repatriation, agarang tulong para sa mga OFW na nangangailangan. Oo, may mga pagsubok pa, pero tuloy ang suporta ng gobyerno upang makalikha ng mas maraming trabaho, mas maunlad na kabuhayan at mas magandang kinabukasan para sa bawat Pilipino.
Comelec, Usapang Halalan 2025. Malapit na. Dito lang sa BTV. Halina't makisaya sa makulay na Panag Benga Festival. Panoorin ang Grand Street Dance Parade ngayong Sabado, alas 11 na umaga. At saksihan ang live broadcast ng Grand Float Parade ngayong Linggo, alas 8 na umaga. Sama-sama tayo humanga sa ganda ng ating kultura at tradisyon at damhin ang diwa ng Baguio Flower Festival dito lang sa inyong PTV.
Nagbabalik ang bagong Pilipinas ngayon, kasama pa rin si DMW Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak. Secretary, ngayong 2025, ano po ang priority measures na tututukan ninyo pagdating naman sa issues and concerns ng ating mga kababayang manggagawa sa ibang bansa?
Yes, we have so many things to look forward to in 2025. By the way, I still forgot to mention yung mga bilateral international cooperative measures natin. We have 53 bilateral agreements with countries hosting OFWs. They are not measures intended to promote overseas employment, but rather to make sure kausap natin yung host country na may demand for OFWs para protektado yung OFWs at hindi sila nagiging biktima ng illegal recruitment or human trafficking papunta doon. Okay. The other thing I should point out is yung mga facilities that have been developed for OFWs. Over 500,000 already served by the OFW lounges in NAIA 1 and NAIA 3. And dito sa Migrants Brew ng OWA, parang coffee shop yan na inulunsad for OFWs, it's over 600,000 as well. Sa Seafarers Center, Seafarers Hub, around 50,000. So, more OFW facilities are in store, especially one that could be set up overseas. And then yung ating bagong office na binuksan, nandun si President and First Lady, pinalawig nung December, yung Makati South Sector office natin. So for this year, we are groundbreaking one central office dito sa May Agham Road for the DMW na yan, and at least two regional offices na bubuksan natin potentially for the DMW. And then, of course, we have several plans laid in terms of providing new rules of protection for OFW fishers. For instance, marami tayong kaso ng mga fishers na nabibiktima by unscrupulous fishing operators internationally. So we intend to establish set rules for OFW fishers. Last year, we signed the International Convention against Violence and Harassment at Work. So we will have firm guidelines on the International Convention on Violence and Harassment at Work as it applies to OFWs. Dito sa OFW Hospital, na-mention na yung Cancer Care Center. But we also wish to develop more services and facilities including increasing the bed capacity of the OFW hospital. For right now, it's 50 beds, but we want to accommodate more than 50 beds. And of course, a dialysis treatment facility in the OFW hospital. Gusto rin namin palawigin yung OFW hospital para hindi lang siya sa San Fernando, Pampanga. So we intend to develop branches, so to speak, or units. You know how clinics set up in malls? Parang ganon, hospitals or clinics set up in malls. Parang ganon, nationwide for the OFW hospital. Of course, we also plan to embark on sa seafarer side, implementation of the Magna Carta for seafarers. The rules were signed before the President on the Magna Carta for seafarers last January 8th. So palalawigin pa natin yung protection of seafarers, seafarers who need protection in terms of abandonment, again, anti-piracy, and those who are caught in the middle of conflicts due to geopolitical tensions worldwide. Sa bilateral negotiations front, we intend to develop and sign more agreements with countries hosting OFWs. Central and Western Europe is opening up to OFWs, and we want to be there in terms of, again, ensuring agreements with the host countries. So these are among the many things that are in store for us. We plan to set up a one-stop shop for reintegration para pagdating ng overseas Filipino worker, which is virtual and physical, which means yung nagbabalak pa lang umuwi, hindi kailangan nakauwi na. Pero yung nagbabalak pa lang umuwi, nandun na kami, naka-line up na yung different government agencies. Anong option sa pagninegosyo? Whether it's other government agencies like DTI or DA, or anong option sa pakasanayan? We've partnered with DG Kiko Benitez and TESDA. Nako, napakahaba ng listahan ng maaari namin gawin, but rest assured, for 2025, we have developed more programs and services for OFWs. Implementation of the Action Fund, further implementation is another one. The legal clinics that we will conduct globally so that OFWs will know saan sila tatakbo.
Sir, nabanggit niyo yung pagpapalawig o pagdagdag ng bilateral agreements with other countries para sa proteksyon ng ating mga kababayan. So, dito po locally, ano po yung gagawin natin para masabat naman ng tuluyan yung illegal recruitment at human trafficking? Yes,
we plan to heighten our partnership with the IACAT, the Interagency Council Against Trafficking. Kasi halimbawa, itong bagay na napag-usapan din namin ni Sec Remulla dun sa UAE, itong mga pagsawatan ng mga sindikato sa human trafficking. So we plan to cooperate. Of course, we take care of the victims. So the victims can come up with their different statements that can implicate the various syndicates or perpetrators of the crimes of illegal recruitment and human trafficking. Ang kasama doon, pagkalinga sa mga biktima. Kasi they can easily give up, madali silang mapainan ng settlement ng illegal recruiter, magdanggil ng anumang settlement at papayag sila. So we will shelter them, we will provide them assistance while the case goes on para ma-prosecute, successfully prosecute itong mga illegal recruiters and human traffickers. Yung mga accommodation facilities ng overseas workers, lalo na ng kasambahay dito, we plan to further regulate them. Yung mga recruitment agencies kasi operate accommodation facilities. So we plan to further regulate para dapat makatao, above standard ang accommodation. And of course, we plan globally to open more migrant workers offices. We opened 3 new ones in 2024 in Bangkok, in Vienna, and in Budapest, Hungary. So we plan to open at least 6, and it can go up to 8 and even 10 kung the budget allows. So we plan to open up at least 6 new migrant workers offices worldwide. Right now, it's 41 in all.
Sir, elaborate lang po natin yung nabanggit nyo kanina na 17 seafarers ng MV Galaxy Leader na nakalaya mula sa Houthi rebels sa Yemen. Kumusta na po sila? At ano po yung assistance na ibinigay ng DMW? Meron po ba silang stress debriefing? Kasi syempre, ilang buwan din silang...
Yes. As I mentioned, we're thankful to the President or leadership of the President and Department of Foreign Affairs. Yung Sultanate of Oman, in the last two international conferences that I've attended, nagpasalamat ako personally sa Minister of Labor ng Oman sa kanilang tulong. So yes, tama kayo, financial assistance. Well, first of all, ang directive ni Presidente is to handhold the families all throughout the 248 days of captivity nila. So we were careful in terms of taking care of the families. Nakilala na namin sila lahat, whether it's Zoom or face-to-face gatherings. We're together, nagbanding kami with the families to make sure that they are assured of government assistance. So dito sa kanilang pagdating, yes, patuloy ang hand-holding namin sa kanila, psychosocial assistance, and even financial assistance, and even medical assistance, along the way. In fact, I'm due once again to meet them, just to catch up and get an update from them. So, yun po. And of course, as I mentioned, patuloy yung aming pagmamanman sa Red Sea. Marami na tayong mga principals and ship owners na pinagbawal na maglayag sa Red Sea na may dalang Filipino seafarers.
Sir, tanong mula sa ating kasamahan sa media na si Evan Alvarez ng UNTV. May inaasahan pa po bang repatriation ng OFW sa mga susunod na araw? At ano po ang latest update sa mga distressed OFWs? I guess dun sa mga conflict zones.
Yes, just last Monday and Tuesday, we had 131 repatriates from Lebanon. This effectively clears the shelters because we're still running shelters in Beirut. So, na-clear. Sila yung occupants ng shelters. So, sa ngayon, 0 ang tao natin sa shelters. But nevertheless, we keep our operations open. There are about 19 or so still with the pending cases. Hindi makauwi dahil may pending cases doon. So, our lawyers are on the ground helping them out. When I arrived from UAE the other day, may kasama akong 22 distressed OFWs returning naman from Kuwait. So patuloy lang ang ating repatriation effort. Our one repatriation command center still in operation. 1348 ang hotline natin sa mga pamilya na gustong mag-contact na sa amin at gustong magpatulong sa pagpapauwi ng kanilang mahal sa buhay na in danger o gusto nang umuwi from abroad. 1348 ang hotline. 24,000 na po ang napauwi natin to the one repatriation command center.
Sunod na tanong po ni Evan Alvarez ng UNTV, mula po sa mga nakauwing 4 na Filipino fishermen mula sa San Diego, ano pong aksyon sa sinasabing employer o recruiter ng mga ito?
Yes, we are now, of course, set to file cases against the manning agency. Ito yung isang example ng mga fishers. And kaya't we are bent on taking them to task for violating the rights, welfare, living, working conditions of our seafarers. And as I mentioned, ikakasa natin this year yung ating further standards of protection for OFW fishers. Ito talaga yung pinaka-vulnerable seafarers compared to land-based, mas konti ang cases, but within the seafarers, yung fishers. Ang pinaka-problematic, maraming mga tiwaling fishing operators and manning agencies.
Ito naman po tanong mula kay Bien Manalo ng PTV. Any update daw po sa investigasyon sa pagkamatay naman ng nawawalang seafarer na si Ralph Anthony Bobiles?
Well, sa ngayon, sinuspindi natin yung ahensya. Hindi natin gusto yung nangyari kasi bukod sa pagkawala ni Cadet Ralph, kadete siya, naglayag yung barko, naglayag from Veracruz, Mexico, papuntang Baltimore, Maryland. Paglayag niya, nawala si Cadet Ralph. Pagdating ng Baltimore, hindi man lang sinabihan yung US authorities. Parang walang nangyari. So we're not very happy about this situation. So we suspended the manning agency and put them to task. We're launching an investigation about this. And then, of course, we're asking the manning agency to produce, to tell those who joined Cadet Ralph on board to present themselves to the DMW para makapanayam namin sila, malaman namin kung ano talaga nangyari. 21 yan, all Filipino crew. And sa ngayon, this process is ongoing. We are still waiting for the investigative report of the Panamanian authorities. Panamanian flag kasi ito. So we're putting the manning agency and the ship owner to task in this case. We're not happy with the way things happen.
Sir, may desisyon na po ba kung magpapatupad tayo ng deployment ban sa Kuwait dahil po sa sinapit ng mga kababayan nating sina Jenny Alvarado at Daphne Nakalaban?
Definitely what is on top would be tighter deployment measures. Ang isang nakikita natin dito sa deployment ng OFWs for Kuwait, yung worker pumipirma ng kontrata, nakapangalan doon yung employer, pero hindi niya kilala yung employer. And this is very problematic kasi hindi niya kilala yung employer. Pagdating doon, hindi niya alam kung ano ugali o ano, posibleng mag-breed ng misunderstanding and worse, conflict. We are introducing what we call Know Your Employer measures, requirements. Bago pa man umalis yung worker, may video call na with the employer. Kita na niya yung mukha. And actually, in fairness to the employer, vice versa, makikilala niya na rin kung sino yung worker na papunta sa kanya. And of course, the standards, yung qualifications, no criminal record, clear track record, and yung financial capacity to pay, quality ang ating mga overseas workers. So, yung mga OFW kasampay, alam natin dekalidad. At hindi basta-basta kung sino-sino lang dapat makahire sa kanila. So, we will also look at the standards, yung qualification ng employers before they go. And then, yung monitoring, meron tayong electronic monitoring system right now. But we will also put the employers and the Kuwaiti recruiters to task about helping us monitor. And then, yung si Jenny kasi at saka si Daphne are both balik manggagawa. Matagal na sila doon. So we will also implement measures, parang kamustahan system, where mangangamusta tayo kahit na matagal na doon, ay pwede pa rin sila mag-ulat sa atin para ma-monitor din natin yung sitwasyon nila electronically. Kailangan electronic eh. Mahirap yung manual lang, pa isa-isang tawag. They should be able to text or send an email or a Facebook message para mas madali natin ma-monitor yung sitwasyon nila.
Maganda yun kasi iniisip na kapag balik manggagawa na, ano na yan, sanay na yan, dyan, wala na yung problema.
Yes.
Pero dapat may monitoring.
That's on top of the measures we already instituted. Yung hindi pwede ang first-timers for Kuwait. And then whitelisting ng both the Kuwaiti recruiter and the Philippine recruiter and also even the employer. Sabi ko nga kanina, we will check the background. Hindi na pwedeng makaulit yung mga naglabag na ng karapatan ng overseas Filipino workers natin.
Okay, sir, gaano naman kaaktibo ang DMW sa pagtulong sa mga undocumented Filipino immigrants sa Amerika na apektado ng sinasabing mass deportation ngayon? Ano po yung assistance na ibibigay sa kanila ng DMW?
Yes. First of all, siguro kailangan lang natin i-clarify na walang mass deportation sa ngayon. No? We don't want to should I say, instill fear sa mga kababayan natin. We're working closely with the DFA, working closely with Sec. Ricky Manalo and Yusek Ed De Vega and Ambassador Romualdez in DC and our consulates all over the states para ma-monitor yung situation. Sa ngayon, wala hong deportation na nangyayari, but the DMW stands ready. Again, yung mga nabanggit ko na kanina, Action Fund and Once Repatriation Command and Reintegration, lahat yan will come into play once an OFW requires repatriation, whether in the United States or elsewhere.
Sir, kamusta naman po yung, paano naman po tutugunan ng DMW ang problema sa delayed shipments ng balikbayan boxes?
Sa ngayon, okay. Nakikipagtulungan tayo sa Bureau of Customs. Sa ngayon, we have, together with the BOC, so we're thankful to the BOC na facilitate na ang release ng 9,000 boxes. But there are around 5,000 more to go. Half of them are in Davao Port. So we're thankful to the BOC, may deed of donation na i-donate sa atin, tas tayong mamamahagi. So sasagawa na natin yun. Dito sa Manila, we're working on the same deed of donation system. Pero, more than that, dahil dun sa congressional hearing nung isang araw, na-discover natin na pwede pala yung system na puntahan mismo dun sa warehouse, kaya nagpapasalamat tayo dun sa BOC. Around 40 boxes were released the other day to different OFWs. So this will just be the beginning of the continued distribution. So again, 9,000 given and 5,000 more to go. And then aside from this, we provide action funds. Kasi nabiktima ng scam itong mga OFW families natin. Nagbayad na doon, tapos door to door, tapos hindi nakarating to the Philippine door. Nakaalis ng foreign door, hindi nakarating dito sa Pilipinas sa bahay ng OFW. So, they've been victimized and we provide action fund assistance as well to the families.
Okay, sir, maraming salamat po sa mga impormasyong ibinahagi ninyo sa amin, Secretary Cakdak. Tumigil ang pamahalaan at ang Department of Migrant Workers sa pagtulong at pagkalinga sa mga kababayan nating OFW sa oras ng pangangailangan.
So dito sa aming segment na Mission to Accomplish, Mr. Secretary, very succinctly, siguro 1 to 3 sentences. Ano po yung gusto nyong ma-accomplish in 2025 or sa hinaharap?
Yeah, I think more facilities that cater to our OFWs, to their comfort and literally to provide welfare services, and then tighter employment standards. Again, yung rights-based approach na tinatawag patatalaga natin. And then lastly, yun naman sa pagprotekta rin ng kita nila. So more financial education, literacy, one-stop shop, reintegration, pagpapalakas ng ating reintegration programs.
Okay, maraming salamat po muli sa inyong oras, Department of Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Cacdac.
At dito po nagtatapos ang ating programa sa araw na ito.
Sama-sama ulit tayo bukas para sa mahalagang talakayan at mabilis na aksyon ng pamahalaan. Mula sa Presidential Communications Office, ako po si Weng Hidalgo.
At mula rin sa Presidential Communications Office, ako po si Joey Villarama. Sama-sama tayo para sa isang bagong Pilipinas ngayon.